Here's Navarro on the run. Navarro's going to keep it. Navarro for 6. Touchdown, Bobcat.
I feel I had a hard time staying in my own lane.
Oh my goodness!
Brett Murdoch, pick 6. Harbath inside the 30, the 20. Blake Harbath will score.
And Mendoza takes a big hit. He never saw it coming. Trey White got in there.
There's his man, Rucker. And nobody's going to catch him. Goodbye.
Intercepted. Tyree Skipper. Touchdown.
Telly again, why not? A step forward and make it 2 for Telly.
Quarterback keeper showing off the speed. Steps on the gas. Untouched.
The G5 Hive. All G5 all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive, where we bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I am Luke, and I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. It helps with all the things that I don't understand. Algorithms. I don't get them, but they help. Hit up Conference USA. Our Week 13 in review, Delaware at Wake Forest, a G5 versus P4 matchup. Not much to cover here in this one as Wake Forest steamrolled Delaware. 122 total yards for Delaware at the half, and it was 35-7. Delaware would end with 300 total yards, 577 total yards of offense for Wake Forest. They win this one by a final of 52-14. Missouri State at Kennesaw State. This one was a fun one, but let's jump right into the fourth. Odom gave Kennesaw State a 34-27 lead on a 25-yard connection with Clayton Kapak with 5:51 left in the fourth, but Missouri State answered 2 plays later when Shamari Lawrence, friend of the podcast, raced for a 70-yard touchdown to tie it at 34 all. After Kennesaw State went 3 and out, Missouri State drove past midfield before being stopped on 4th and 10 at the 34. After a Kennesaw State 3 and out and a Missouri State turnover on downs, Odom started the next drive with a 7-yard rush, followed with a 40-yard completion to Christian Moss to set up a play that would end up being the game winner. Odom would dance around the pocket before drifting back, lob it to the front of the end zone for a wide-open Bletcher. Kennesaw State wins 41-34. The touchdown to Bletcher set a school record for touchdown passes in a game with 5. Odom was 24 of 34 for 387 yards and my offensive player of the week for Week 13. Liberty at Louisiana Tech. This one we had extra football. The action starts here in the third, midway through the third. It's 28-7 Liberty, just chugging along for Liberty. Then Louisiana Tech would score a touchdown. Then Jakari Foster would intercept Ethan Vasco. Louisiana Tech would go on a 96-yard drive that would take us into the fourth and cut the lead to 7. Then Ethan Vasco would throw another INT, this time by Michael Richard. Louisiana Tech would score another touchdown to tie things up at 28 with 7:05 left in the game. Like I said, extra football for this one. In overtime, Liberty would get the ball first, and your boy, Jakari Foster, would get his second interception. 2 timely interceptions by Jakari Foster made him my defensive player of the week in Week 13. Then Louisiana Tech's first touch, and they rushed for a 25-yard touchdown, and Louisiana Tech pulls this one after being down 21. They win this one 34-28. 4 of Liberty's last 5 drives would end in an interception. Sam Houston versus Middle Tennessee. Too much Roman Gagliano for the Bearcats. It was tied at 10 at the half, and then Roman Gagliano would throw a 19-yard touchdown pass to Jaquel Middlebrook and rush for 2 touchdowns in the second half to lead the Blue Raiders to a 31-17 victory over Sam Houston. Roman was 21 of 34 for 268 yards, 1 touchdown, while having 9 rushes for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. New Mexico State at UTEP. All UTEP early in this one. They were up 21-0 after the first quarter. The UTEP defense would force 2 turnovers, 1 interception, 1 fumble. Then it was all New Mexico State in the second quarter as they scored 21 points to tie things up going into the half. Heading into the fourth, we're still all tied up, this time at 24. New Mexico would get a field goal to go up 3 after a UTEP 3 and out. New Mexico would also struggle to move the ball, but they were able to pin UTEP at the 3-yard line on a punt. While they're up 3, 4:19 left, UTEP would drive the ball 97 yards and cap off the drive with a Locklear to Kenny Odom 28-yard touchdown pass to go up 31-27 with 56 seconds left. UTEP would kick it deep, and Adam DeMonte would complete 3 big completions, and Dion Staley would break off a 25-yard run to get the Aggies down to the 10-yard line with 29 seconds left. After an incompletion, DeMonte would find his friend, and it would find the friend of a podcast, TK King, for a 10-yard touchdown, and that would be your game winner. New Mexico State steals this one 34-31 on the road, especially after UTEP was up 21-0 after one. Big win there for New Mexico State. Jacksonville State, FIU, Caden Creel and Cam Cook have been everything for this Jacksonville State team this year. However, on Saturday, a fumble by each of them in the fourth quarter would keep the Gamecocks from locking up a spot in the CUSA title game. Jacksonville State would be upset by FIU. Cam Cook, Caden Creel combined for 44 rushing attempts, 238 yards, and 1 touchdown, while Creel added 198 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. What proved to be the different maker in this one was one of those fumbles by Caden Creel. FIU would hit a splash play for a 64-yard pass play from Joe Pizzinski to Alex Perry. The touchdown would put the Panthers up 24-21, and they would win by that final. And then probably the surprise of the late night was Western Kentucky LSU, G5 versus P4. Western Kentucky was killed in terms of total yards, as they were only able to muster up 152 yards, while LSU had 328. I call that great for WKU and that defense on the night, holding LSU to 328 yards. Despite the yardage differential in this game, it was close throughout. First quarter, all Western Kentucky. In the second, Western Kentucky had missed opportunities as they would intercept Van Buren Jr., march down the field. They had first and goal from the LSU 6, but would turn it over on downs. LSU would then turn it back over on downs to Western Kentucky at the WKU 42, and on 4th and 1 at the LSU 38, Western Kentucky would turn it over on downs again. LSU would turn that into 7 points as Van Buren would find Trades Green for an 11-yard touchdown to go up 7-3 with 1:32 left in the first half. Following a Western Kentucky interception about halfway point in the third, LSU would convert that into 3 points, up 10-3 now. And at the beginning of the fourth, LSU would tack on another 3 points to go up 10. With about a minute left to go in the game, LSU running back Harlem Berry would fumble, and Dylan Flowers would return 71 yards to the house, and they're now down 3 with 1:17 left. Western Kentucky would try an onside kick, but were unsuccessful, and LSU wins this one 13-10. Bowl eligibility. 2 teams to add this week. We have FIU and Louisiana Tech. So now, bowl eligible teams, we have Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, the newly minted Louisiana Tech, and FIU bowl eligible teams with an asterisk by a Missouri State. I have enough wins to be there, but with being new to the conference, not technically eligible. So only 5 teams bowl eligible. If Missouri State gets what they're fighting for, and that'll be 6. So
FIU, that's kind of first time in 9 seasons, I want to say, something like that. That might not be right, but it's been a long time since Florida International has been bowl eligible. So kudos to Florida International and the Panthers on a great first year under new head coach.
And Keon Jenkins has been hurt for the last 3 weeks. So Joe's done great. And this has been the hardest team for me to decipher this year because I just don't know which team is going to show up.
Right.
A little Jekyll and Hyde team.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are consistently inconsistent. So let's look ahead to Week 14. All Saturday games here as we have UTEP at Delaware, 1 p.m. Eastern. Delaware favored by 5.5 points. Over under set at 45.5. I would take the over 54.5 points. Delaware kind of seemed to lose some gas here towards the end of the season. UTEP has been pretty consistent at putting up points. Like I think Delaware's defense is pretty porous overall. I think UTEP can easily put up 24, 28, 30 some points on this defense. And I think Delaware can also hang in there. But I think I would take UTEP to cover the 5.5.
Interesting.
If I have to pick one of them, I think I'm going to take the over 54.5 though.
I think I would take Delaware to cover the 5.5. But to your point, yeah, I can see it the other way as well. Delaware gets this win; they get to 6 wins. Technically bowl eligible, but they kind of fall in the same scenario as Missouri State. Really, the only way that either Missouri State or Delaware can get to a bowl is that there aren't enough bowl eligible teams. Stupid rule. Don't agree with it, but nonetheless. It is the rule. But yeah, it'd be a great first season in the FBS for both those teams to basically have a 500 season. It'd be hard to ask for more, I think, in your first year. So kudos to both of them. At least have an opportunity to do it. So, but yeah, if I'm picking something, give me Delaware minus the 5.5 points.
All right. Then we have FIU at Sam Houston, 1 p.m. Eastern. FIU favored by 10.5 points on the road, over under set at 51.5. I'm going to lay the points with FIU. I think actually 10.5 ain't enough. Give me this Bearcats defense isn't great. Joe's been on fire tossing the ball. I think he's got like eight touchdowns in the last 3 games. I think he tears it up. I think Keelan Owens does his thing on the ground. Panthers win big in this one. I'll lay the points with FIU.
For me, this is an avoid because I just like we just talked about. You don't know what. I mean, I agree with you. That's what should happen, but is that the FIU team that's going to show up on Saturday? I don't know. Sam Houston's not really fighting for anything other than pride. They can't get the bowl eligibility. They only have 2 total wins, only 1 in conference. I think FIU wins the game, but from a betting perspective, it's probably an avoid. You look for Alex Perry and Joe Pasansky to have big games once again. They've been lighting it up for the last couple of weeks, and like Luke said, the Sam Houston defense is pretty porous.
So I now that I have conviction on FIU loses. That's just what happens. All right, Western Kentucky at Jacksonville State. This one will be a fun game. Western Kentucky favored by 2.5 points on the road, over under set at 55.5. I'm going to avoid this one. I just want to watch it because it's going to be great football.
It's a win and you're in. Whoever wins this game is in the Conference USA Championship game. So big game for both teams. I'm with Luke. I don't think I want to bet on this game, but it should be one hell of a game to watch. Should be a barn burner. Western Kentucky with Rodney Tisdale Jr. at quarterback has looked like a different team. And so, yeah, it's Rodney Tisdale Jr. and the Hilltoppers against Cam Cook and Caden Creel. We saw that Western Kentucky defense play really well against LSU, right? Like, can they do it in a week where they got to stop the run? Because that's what Jacksonville State's going to want to do. Again, great game, barn burner of a game. Definitely one to tune into, and like I said, see who's going to automatically make it to that Conference USA championship game.
All right, and then we got Louisiana Tech at Missouri State. Missouri State favored by 2.5 points. Over under set at 51.5. Missouri State's just been playing really good football this year. I'm gonna lay the points with Missouri 2.5. Gives you your field goal. I like that. If it was 3.5, it might be a little bit tougher decision. But at 2.5, I'm gonna get Missouri State there at home.
I agree with you. I think Jacob Clark, senior day there for him. He'll have that extra emotions, and he'll be living it up and leading Missouri State to victory. That'll be their 8th victory on the year. They'll be 8. If they win, they'll finish 8-4. What an incredible first year in the FBS for Missouri State. I don't think you could have scripted it much better than how it went. In terms
Especially
of the win,
when I'm trying to remember the title that they lost.
Lance Mason.
Yeah, they lose Lance Mason just not too long before the season really started, and like he was going to be their kind of go-to guy. They figured it out. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Louisiana Tech's had a good year too, but they've just been crushed by injuries, right? Like quarterback, linebacker. It's kind of really crushed them and kind of derailed their season, from a championship contender standpoint. But kudos to them. They have still found ways to win games. And so you would think a lot of teams, like losing, your leader on both the offensive and defensive side, a lot of teams would kind of pack it in. Louisiana Tech keeps fighting, and kudos to them for another outstanding year, especially considering the injuries.
All right, then we've got Middle Tennessee at New Mexico State. New Mexico State favored by 4.5 points. Over under set at 53.5. I think if I'm going to do anything in this, I'm going to take the over 53.5. The average score for college football is about 55. Middle Tennessee has looked better with Roman Gagliano under center. Gives them a little bit different dynamic there. Shaquille Middlebrook. I'm like thinking about it now. I'm like, I just don't want to bet anything on this one, but I think if I have to, I'll bet the over 53.5.
For me, I think I take Middle Tennessee and lay the points for the reasons you outlined. I think the two best players are on Middle Tennessee on the offensive side, and Gagliano and Shaquille Middlebrook. I think they're the two best players on offense. Defense, you got two really great defensive linemen, and DeMonte Smith and Ezra Christensen, both interior defensive tackles, two of the best in the G5. Again, this is a pride game. There's no bowl eligibility in it for either team. New Mexico can get to 5 wins. Middle Tennessee can get to 3. But give me Middle Tennessee laying the 4.5 points.
All right, and then the next big matchup in the conference, ESPN says you can get tickets as low as $11 for this one, is what they say. Kennesaw State at Liberty, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Kennesaw State favored by 2.5 points. Over under set at 54.5. I'm going to lay the points with Kennesaw State. 2.5 is not low. Like, it's not big enough. It needs to be 3.5 before it really gets me worried. Liberty going to run the heck out of the ball. Kennesaw State going to run the heck out of the ball. They're going to take their shots. I think this is probably a game that actually goes faster because there's going to be so much running it with Dickens and Omari Odom. Give me Kennesaw State in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a win and you're in game for Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State beats Liberty. They are in the Conference USA Championship. That seems weird to say, right? Like, given given the year they had a year ago where their coach got fired midseason. Regardless, hell of a year for the Kennesaw State Owls, right? Like that Veer and Hoot offense, especially when they unleashed Amari Odom, has really been kicking into gear. We saw what Amari Odom did last week. The Liberty defense is not good. I think Kennesaw State's going to be up for the challenge, man. Liberty is not really playing for anything other than pride. After losing last week, they can't get the bowl eligibility. And so, I mean, really, they're just playing to be spoiler, potentially. But I agree with you. I think Kennesaw State's going to be, hyped up. They're going to have the Veer and Hoot on full display, and they're going to take down the Flames in Lynchburg on Saturday.
Well, Justice, what do we have for a Conference USA championship scenario?
This is probably one of the most straightforward ones. No, Sunbelt's way more straightforward. I take that back. But this one's fairly straightforward. As we said, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State play each other. The winner of that game is in, 100%. Kennesaw State wins. They are in. That's the easy part of it. Now, let's say if Kennesaw State loses and Jacksonville State loses, well, Jacksonville State gets in. They own the tiebreaker. They beat Kennesaw State head-to-head. That's the easy scenario. So Kennesaw State loses, we could potentially get a rematch of the game this week.
Which that would be the exact same scenario as
happened last year.
The two teams played each other, which were Jacksonville State
and Western
Kentucky. And they played each other. Yep.
And remember, Jacksonville State lost in the regular season, and then they smoked them in the championship game. So we could have a 100% a repeat. Where things get weird is if Kennesaw State loses and Western Kentucky loses. It's a bit more complicated. Those two teams did not play each other in the regular season. And so then you have to go through all these tiebreakers. So one of the tiebreakers is who's ranked higher by the College Football Playoff Committee. Well, that's not going to happen, right? Neither of these two teams are going to be ranked by the College Football Playoff Committee. So what would happen, what the most likely scenario is, if Western Kentucky and Kennesaw State both lose, it goes to the average ranking across the Connolly S&P Plus, the Sports Source model, ESPN's SOR model, and KPI rankings. So it just basically goes to the computers, and the computers determine who is it going to be. I really hope it doesn't come to that. I hope Kennesaw State wins, because then they get in, and then whoever wins the other game is going to get in. Hopefully that's the way it plays out. We'll see. If I had to pick, that's how I think it plays out. I think Kennesaw State wins. I don't know that I feel comfortable making a prediction between Western Kentucky and Jacksonville State. I guess if I had to, I'd pick Western Kentucky. But
you got to go with Western Kentucky. They were our pick in the preseason.
They were our preseason pick. You're right.
So I go with them.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably what I hope happens. Western Kentucky versus Kennesaw State. I just hope that it's decided on the field and doesn't go to the computers and to decide who wins the Conference USA, or who makes it to the Conference USA championship game. But yeah, again, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. On X, give us a follow. If you're listening on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We're so grateful for the immense amount of support we have received, and sincerely thank each and every one of you. Be sure to join us next week as we discuss what happened in Week 14. We look forward to what is coming in Conference Championship Week, and as always, bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. Until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.
Yeah! fourth.